Behold the great transition. There's little Poof. Hi, Poof. This video's not about you today, though. Not entirely. So, as you can see, I've got my Mexican dwarf crayfish, or at least some of them, inside of my 40 breeder, which doesn't really have a lot going on in it at the moment. This used to be the tank that I would use to breed blue Moscow guppies. Well, I decided that I was done doing that project and I wanted to use it for something else. Now this tank is for my Mexican dwarf crayfish now, because I have certain inhabitants in the tank that have not left. I am doing a trial that so far for the last few days have been doing pretty well, actually. I put one of my Mexican dwarf crayfish buddies in here to see how he would cope with the changes. Now, the changes involve new tank mates. One of them is little Poof, my pufferfish. Now, little Poof has a diet mainly consisting of Malaysian trumpet snails, and she pretty much sticks to that. She hasn't had any sort of aggressive behavior towards the Mexican dwarf crayfish. Of course, little Poof is out of the frame at the moment. Let's see if I can find her. Ugh. Well, she's somewhere. Oh, no, that's the guppy. I have one random guppy. One blue Moscow guppy left that I did not get rid of because I didn't find it in time when I was donating the guppies. Anywho, so we got Mama Cray that I brought into here because I thought, you know what? She seemed really cramped in the 10-gallon tank. She's an adult. She can take care of herself. So I'm going to have her in the 40 breeder to explore and have some more fun. I have a few of the younger ones. I've got 3 of the young crayfish that are about half an inch or so. One of them is hiding behind this piece of driftwood. And I've gotten to actually observe how Poof handles the crayfish. Now, Poof is a pufferfish, so she is an analytical hunter, meaning that she doesn't outright attack anything. She kind of floats around whatever it is that she's wondering about and analyzes it before she decides whether she is going to attack it or leave it alone. And I'm happy to report that just as she was with the shrimp, she will circle around the crayfish out of curiosity, analyze the crayfish, and then ultimately determine to just leave them alone. Which is great. And she gets fed quite well her high-protein diet of Malaysian trumpet snails, which you don't see any right now because the lights are off. Oh, there's little Poof. You don't see any of the Malaysian trumpet snails right now, simply because the lights are on. When the lights go off, they come out in droves. I'm talking hundreds. I hate Malaysian trumpet snails, but I'll tell you who loves them. Little Poof. So she's well fed. I don't think she feels any need to eat anything else. Her diet's pretty consistent. And she's just a goofy poofy, and she just, you know, floats around, and she's getting used to her new tank mates. But there are other tank mates in here that are relatively benign. There's, like I said, that one guppy swimming around. The guppy's not going to do anything. At least I don't think so. But, and we have Peaches. But Peaches really just keeps to himself. He sits in the driftwood all day and just kind of just mellows out. Then when the lights come off, or when the lights turn off, he comes out and he eats algae off the glass. And during the daytime, every few days, I supplement his diet with some of these Wardley shrimp pellets. You know, some bottom feeder food. Make sure he gets a good diet. But right now I'm on a trial basis making sure these inhabitants work together. Now, of course, normally you would never put something like a small invertebrate, such as a shrimp or a tiny Mexican dwarf crayfish, when you have a pufferfish. I know a lot of people are going to be like, dude, the pufferfish is going to kill him. Here's the thing, and this is very important to remember. Pufferfish are very smart, and They have very diverse personalities. This is something you have to take into consideration if you're trying to do something weird like this. I definitely understand there are risks involved with this, but I honestly don't think it's going to be a problem. I've had Poof for quite some time now. Poof has been inside of the shrimp tanks like this, and Poof has not attacked the shrimp. Now, Poof does attack the snails, and I'm glad, because I freaking hate all the snails. You can see the carcasses of the snails everywhere. She's eaten quite fine. And she's happy with that as her diet. Anything else is just her exploring. I don't want to transfer her to a smaller tank, but because she is an intelligent and analytical fish, she needs to be able to swim around and observe stuff and not be bored, because a pufferfish is one of those fish that can genuinely become bored and then become a little too just depressed because of the same old, same old. They're very aware that they are in a tank. They're very aware of their environment. They study it all day. And if you study the same thing all day, every day, you get bored. That's just how puffers are. So introducing new tank mates will make them curious, but it doesn't make them more vicious. Now, key things to remember, once again, for anyone who's never seen my videos here, Poof is a female. Females are a bit less aggressive than their male counterparts, and she was born and raised in a tank environment in community tanks, which is another very important thing, because there are still a lot of dwarf puffers that are caught in the wild and sold in the pet trade. And because of that, they retain much more wild instincts to hunt. But if they are born and raised in tank environments and community environments, they learn to get along. And they choose very carefully what they decide to eat. Thankfully, Poof has checked all the best boxes for being a docile puffer, and she is a docile puffer. She's done so good with all my tank mates. I used to keep her in here with some of my most expensive fish, some of my most expensive invertebrates, and she's always done fine. So I have no problem with Poof. Her personality, I'm very, very keen on. Because if you look at her, see, she's kind of looking around. She's looking at, that's her analytical nature. She studies things before she does anything. Yay! Good little Poof. See, you got the num-num. Oh, you're such a good little puffer. Oh, I love you so much, Poof. Oh, you're so cute. Yes, I love little Poof. Poof is one of those fish that I got as a utilitarian piece to take care of snail problems, because assassin snails were taking way too long. And I ended up just falling in love with her little buddy. Oh, she's so adorable. And because she's got such a perfect track record with me, I don't think she's ever going to be a problem. As you just saw, she attacked a snail, and perfect timing, wouldn't you know. And that's Peaches. Peaches is a bigger fish, but Peaches' diet is mainly herbivore, or plant-based, I should say. So I don't think Peaches is going to really mind having, well, these guys in the tank. I think Peaches is just going to be like, oh, hey, look, one of those things again. He's probably seen things similar to this. I used to have Crayfish in here with Peaches, and I used to have shrimp in here with Peaches. Peaches is pretty, timid. He keeps to himself. And, oh, I almost forgot, last but not least, Vladimir. Vladimir is straight up harmless. Vladimir can do no wrong. He is a filter feeder. He is not capable of attacking anything. He loves to just shovel whatever he can find into his face if it's free floating. And he keeps to himself, and he handles himself just fine. Whenever he feels threatened, he's got places to go, but honestly, he's been so used to all these weird arrangements at this point. He's been with me for the longest. I've had him for years now. He's done so well with such a diverse array of tank mates. There's just no problem having him there. Yeah, some people are going to say, dude, it's a defenseless, really timid, scared little shrimp. And I'm like, well, first off, this shrimp is like 2 to 3 times bigger than this crayfish is ever going to be. This crayfish is not known for being super aggressive or anything. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. Poof doesn't pay no mind or attention to Vladimir here. So I don't think anything is going to be an issue here. But nevertheless, little by little, bit by bit, for right now I still have some of these guys in here just in case something does go wrong, but I'm not expecting anything to go wrong.